Cockleshell Bay is a town near the sea, with sunshine and seagulls that screech. There are shops that sell ices and buckets and spades so that children can play on the beach. There are white painted houses along the seafront where folk come for a quiet holiday, where the sky is bright, the winds are light, and 2 children stay. So meet Robin and Rosie of Cockleshell Bay.
Okay, well, if I hold this, dear, could you open the door? Right, okay. Lift your end, Chris. That's it. Just a minute, I'll get it round this corner. I don't know why we had to move to another house anyway, said Rosie Cockle. I like the old one. It's 'cause Dad doesn't want to work in a factory anymore, said Robin, and Mummy doesn't want to live in a town. Well, said Rosie in a sulk, this is a town, isn't it? Yes. A little town, not like Ruffington where we used to live. And it's got the sea and the beach and boats and that. Yes. Rosie was beginning to feel a bit happier. She'd been so fed up about leaving her old house that she'd forgotten all about the things she did like in Cockleshell Bay. And just then, their dad came out of the house, carrying lots of bits of paper. Will one of you lift the lid off the dustbin for me? They both said, I will, together. I want to do it, said Robin. Well, I was here first, shouted Rosie. Let go. No! Robin, Rosie. Mr. Cockle was quite cross. Do it together and carefully. Thank you, silly pair. Daddy, said Rosie. Yes, Rosie? Can we help move the furniture round? Oh, afraid not, said their father. It's too heavy and you'll only get bumped into. Well, can we go to the beach, Dad? I'm sorry, Robin, but you don't know the way yet, and I've too much to do here. You'll just have to be patient and play in the garden. And he went inside. Well, I want to go to the beach, said Rosie. Well, we can't, said Robin. Then Mrs. Cockle, their mother, came out, and she was carrying rubbish too. Could one of you lift the lid off the bin for me? She said. And they said, We'll both do it. And they did. Thank you, said their mother as she put the rubbish in. Mum, said Robin. Yes, Robin? Can we go down to the harbour and look at the boats? Oh, not on your own, said Mrs. Cockle. You don't know the way, and I can't come. I've too much to do. You'll just have to be patient and play in the garden. And she went inside too. Oh, said Rosie very crossly. Grown-ups are always too busy. What shall we do now? Said Robin. I don't know, said Rosie. But all at once, Rosie had an idea. Let's be removal men, she said. Oh, that's a good idea, said Robin. Yes, let's. Robin found a big cardboard box and put it near the back door. Then they started looking for things to remove. There were some plates, and Rosie put those in the box. And Robin found their welly boots and put those in too. And there was still room for a nice shiny kettle, a tea towel, a packet of biscuits, and half a brick that Rosie tripped over in the garden. She put that in as well. In case, she said, the house we moved to needs mending. The box was very heavy. Rosie tried to lift it, but she couldn't. Then Robin tried, and he couldn't lift it either. So they tried to slide it along, but it kept getting stuck on rough bits in the path. Come on, Robin, push! Ooh. Gosh, it's heavy. Right, heave. Come on. And Rosie was pulling and Robin was pushing when all at once the bit of cardboard that Rosie was pulling at tore. Whatever are you two doing? It was a lady they didn't know. We're removing, said Rosie. Dear me, said the lady. You've only just arrived in Cockleshell Bay. Who are you? Robin asked. Oh, I'm Mrs. Routy, said the lady. Only everyone calls me Gran Routy. Why? Said Rosie. 'Cause I have 11 grandchildren. Gosh, said Robin. Then he said, our Gran died, so we haven't got one. Oh dear, said Gran Routy. Well, you'd better have me for a Gran now and again. Is that why you've come? Rosie wanted to know. My word, you two do ask a lot of questions, said Gran Routy. No, your mother, Mrs. Cockle, asked me to come to see if I'd help her with the guest house. What's a guest house? Oh, it's like a small hotel. It's where people come to stay for a holiday. It's where you live. This is going to be a guest house. Oh. Now, no more questions. I must see your mum. Oh, hello, Mrs. Routy. I'm so glad you've come. Come in and have a cup of tea. And Gran Routy and Robin and Rosie's mother went into the house. Oh, look, said Rosie all at once. It isn't another garden next to ours. It's a funny place. And if you're used to seeing gardens all in a row, it was a funny place. It had a funny old wooden shed with planks missing here and there, and inside it you could just see coils of rope and step ladders and tins of paint and... Oh, look, said Rosie again. A boat. Crumbs, yes, said Robin. A big one. It was big. And of course it wasn't in the sea, so that they could see all the parts of the boat that were usually under the water. And that seemed to have bits missing too. And there was another ladder and... A pair of pumps, said Robin. And there's more to them than that, said another voice they didn't know. There's feet in those pumps, and legs on those feet, and meat on those legs. And at that, the pumps and feet and legs all came out from under the boat. And there was Mr. Ship. That's my name, said the man. Well, Mr. Shipham, really, but everyone calls me Mr. Ship. Like they call Mrs. Routy Gran, said Rosie. Oh, been talking to Gran Routy, have you? Why, she's an old friend of mine. Yes, that's right, Gran Routy and Mr. Ship. And what's your name? Rosie Cockle, said Rosie. And yours? Robin Cockle, said Robin. Robin and Rosie Cockle, eh? said Mr. Ship. That's a good name for Cockleshell Bay folk. And when did you arrive? Today, said Robin and Rosie together. Oh, as long ago as that, said the old man. Well then, you're going to be busy finding out about this all, aren't you? About who all? said Rosie. Why, bless me barnacles, about all of us who already lives here. Robin was just going to say, yes, but who are they, when... Robin, Rosie, their mother called. Right, off you go home now, but next time I'll let you meet a friend of mine with big ears who likes carrots. All right? Oh, yes, please, said Robin and Rosie, both together. You're looking very cheerful, said Mrs. Cockle. Are you going to like living here? Oh, yes, said Robin and Rosie together. And they went in for lunch. said Mrs. Cockle. Phew, said Mr. Cockle. Phew, said Gran Rowty, and phew, said Robin and Rosie both together. Well, that's all the furniture in its proper place, said Mr. Cockle. And I reckon we've earned a rest, right, Mrs. Rowty? Oh, I'll say, Mr. Cockle. Even poor old Teddy looks worn out, Rosie. Said Rosie. I think he's asleep. And they all said, phew, again, once or twice. Then all at once, Robin said, Mummy? Yes, Robin? Now that we've properly removed, is this a guest home? A guest house? Well, and Helen Cockle laughed, not until we've made it look nicer than this. And we'll have to have people staying here on holiday, said Mr. Cockle. And you'll have to have a name for it, said Gran Rowty. That made Mr. Cockle sit up. Gosh, Helen, he said, I'd forgotten all about a name. So had I, said Mrs. Cockle. Well, all the other little hotels and that are called something. Place next door is called Pine Villa. How about calling our guest house High Tide because it's near the sea, said Christopher Cockle. But Mrs. Cockle didn't think that was a good idea. People might think it's so near the sea that the water comes into the house at high tide, she laughed. How about calling it the Anchor because it's near to the harbour where all the boats are? But Gran Rowty didn't think that was a good idea. There's a little hotel to the side of the village that's already called the Anchor, she said. You'd have folk going to the wrong place. Oh dear, said Mrs. Cockle. Oh dear, said Mr. Cockle. Oh dear, said Robin and Rosie together. The three grown-ups laughed at that. You don't have to worry about it, said their mother. We'll think of something. Why don't you go into the garden and play while we get on in here? Oh, yes, said Robin and Rosie. What shall we do? Asked Rosie. Let's go and see if Mr. Ship's in his yard, said Robin, and Rosie agreed. Mr. Ship, called Robin. Mr. Ship! Hello, my dears, called Mr. Ship, but they couldn't see him. Hello, he called again. Perhaps he's under his boat again, said Rosie. Mr. Ship! Mr. Ship! Hello, I'm up here. Robin and Rosie looked up, and there he was on top of his old boat. Hang on, he called. I'm coming down. Were you going to sail it round the world today, Mr. Shipham? Asked Robin. Well, not before lunch, smiled the old man. And do call me Mr. Ship, like everyone else does. Anyway, Rosie chipped in, he couldn't sail it round the world because it's got holes in it. Well, he could have mended it, said Robin. No, he couldn't. Yes, he could. No, 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 said Mr. Ship. Anyone who fights in my yard gets nothing to eat for a week but Ship's biscuits. They knew he didn't mean it, but they stopped arguing anyway. And then Rosie asked Mr. Ship, will it sail one day, Mr. Ship? Oh, she certainly will, my dear, she certainly will, said Mr. Ship. I was doing a bit of work on her bows when you turned up. The bows? Said Rosie. Don't you know where the bows are? Said the old sailor. Why, the bow on a boat is the front of the boat, the sharp end. There, that's the bows. Oh, I see, Mr. Ship, said Robin. And what's the back of the boat called? Oh, that's the stern. Bow, and stern." "Bow and stern," said Rosie. "I see." Then, "Bless my barnacles," said Mr. Ship. "I'm forgetting my promise." "What's that, Mr. Ship?" "Well, last time I saw you, I said I'd introduce you to a friend of mine with long ears who eats carrots." "Oh!" said Robin and Rosie, both together again. "And he lives in a sort of house over here." The sort of house was a little shed with a funny door in two halves. The top of the door was open, and the bottom half was closed. "Fury!" called Mr. Ship. "Come on, Fury!" "Who's Fury?" asked Robin. "Oh, you'll see. Fury, come on!" There was a sort of blowing and rustling from the back of the shed, and then a big, gentle, hairy face was poked out of the open half of the door. "A horse!" said Rosie. "A donkey!" said Mr. Ship. "A donkey called Fury." "He doesn't look like a fury," said Robin. "He don't behave like a fury either," said Mr. Ship. "I think he was called that as a little joke because he's so gentle. Just try stroking his nose." They did, and Fury loved it. "Is he your donkey, Mr. Ship?" asked Rosie. No, he just lives in my yard. He belongs to a man called Arthur Fingal, and he gives rides to the children on the beach. And I don't know why he isn't there today. But I know someone who's going to be on the beach this afternoon." "Oh," said Rosie. "Who?" "Well, if it's all right with your mum and dad, you are, 'cause I'm going to take you." "Oh," said Robin and Rosie both together. "And," said the old man, "I've got something here that you need to have with you on the beach." "There," he said. "You can't live at the seaside and not have a bucket and spade. Seaside and buckets and spades goes together." "Gosh, thank you," said Robin and Rosie together. And then Rosie said, "Do seasides and buckets and spades always go together?" "Always," said Mr. Ship. "Well then," said Rosie, "that's what we could call our guest house." Said Mr. Ship. "It'd certainly be different." "Come on," said Robin. "Let's tell Mummy and Daddy." They got to the back door in a rush, just as Mr. and Mrs. Cockle were coming to look for them. "Mummy, we've seen a donkey called Fury. And Mr. Ship's boat's going to sail around the world, and he's going to take us to the beach. And he's given us a bucket and spade each. And that's what we could call our guest house. The bucket and spade." "The bucket and spade," said Mr. and Mrs. Cockle, both together. "What a nice idea." "Shall we?" said Mrs. Cockle. "Yes!" said Mrs. Cockle and Mr. Cockle and Robin and Rosie all together, and they all went and had their lunch in the bucket and spade guest house. Mr. Cockle was cleaning the new sign on the back door of the Bucket and Spade guest house. "Robin, Rosie, come on quick. but be quiet." The two of them came tumbling out, not all that quietly, but quietly enough for them. "What is it, Daddy?" asked Rosie. "We've got a visitor." "Gosh," said Robin, "what a big bird. What is it?" "It's a seagull," said Helen Cockle. "I've been feeding it." "Mummy," said Rosie, "there's something funny about its wing." "Oh, you're right, it must have broken it sometime." "Poor thing," said Rosie. "It's very tame," she said. But just as she said it, the seagull squawked. It made a jump, and Robin thought that was very funny. "Don't you laugh, you're silly," said Rosie. "Well," said Robin, "you're a scaredy cat." "I am not." "That's enough, you two," said Mrs. Cockle. "You're never happy unless you're squabbling." It wasn't quite true, but it was true enough, and Robin and Rosie calmed down. "Well, I must get on with some work," said Mr. Cockle. "And so must I," said Mrs. Cockle. "Oh," said Robin. "Where's the seagull gone? I expect it's flown off to its friends," said Rosie. "How could it fly with a bent wing?" "Well, I don't know. Maybe we could search for it." "Oh, we'll never find it." While they were thinking about what to do, Mr. Shipham came across from his boatyard just next door. "Hello, my dears," he said. "Your mum in, is she?" "Yes," said Rosie. "I'll tell her. Mummy, Mr. Ship's here." "Hello, Mr. Ship." "Oh, morning, Mrs. Cockle. I have to go down to the harbour to help a friend of mine. The engine on his boat's broken down. I wondered if... "I'm just on my way to the village now," said Mrs. Cockle. "I'm going to do a bit of shopping. I'll give you a lift in our car." "Well, ain't I the lucky one?" said Mr. Ship. "Thank you." "Right, children," said Mrs. Cockle. "Daddy's upstairs painting the back bedroom. Don't go off anywhere without telling him." "Can we go in your yard, Mr. Ship?" asked Robin. "Well, yes," said Mr. Ship, "but don't mess about with any tools or paint, or I'll keel-haul the pair of you. Bye-bye." "Bye." And then Mr. Ship and their mother went off. "Bye, Mum. Bye, Mr. Ship." "I'll tell Dad where we're going," said Robin. "We're going into Mr. Ship's yard, Dad." "All right. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 biscuits." "You'll get fat," shouted Mr. Cockle. "Bye then." "Bye. Bye." The two of them went across the grass and through the hole in the fence into Mr. Ship's yard. "Let's have a look at the donkey," said Robin. "Fury," called Rosie. "Fury." Mr. Fingle's donkey came from the back of its stall and pushed its great, gentle, hairy face at them to be stroked. "I think he's hungry," said Rosie. "He always is," said Robin. "Give him one of our biscuits." But Fury took 2. "Oh, we'd better keep the others in case we get hungry," said Robin, and Rosie agreed. They gave Fury a last pat and went to have a look at Mr. Ship's old boat. It looked just the same as it always did, with the same bits missing from the same places. "Perhaps we could mend it for him," suggested Robin, but Rosie said, "Oh no, Mr. Ship said we're not to touch his tools." "All right then, let's build our own boat and sail that round the world." "Oh, yes!" Rosie thought that was a smashing idea, and they started to look around for things to build it from. Rosie found an old tin bath with a handle at each end. It had a hole in the bottom. "But that doesn't matter," she said. "It'll do for the big bit, the hull." said Robin. "Mr. Ship told me it was called the Hull. And I've got an empty cardboard box for the bridge." "That's where the captain stands," said Rosie. "Yes, I know." "There." They looked at it. "It's got a hull," said Rosie. "And it's got a bridge," said Robin. It ought to have a mast." "And a sail." "Yes. There's the yard brush. I'll go and get it." While she was away, Robin found an old sack for the sail that was only a bit dirty, and then Rosie came back with the yard brush, and it didn't take them long at all to get their boat finished. "Now," said Robin, "let's sail round the world. Who's going to be captain?" "Well, I'll be captain and you can be the crew." "Why can't I be captain?" "'Cause I'm bigger than you," said Robin. "No, you're not." So they stood back to measure who was tallest. But of course, then they couldn't see themselves. So in the end, Robin said, "I know. Let's take turns at being captain." And Rosie agreed. Then they set sail on their long voyage. "A whale! Ship ahoy! Land ho! Hoist the mainsail!" After a bit, they thought they must be about halfway round the world, so Rosie, who was being captain, said, "A desert island! Let's land!" Robin lowered the sail. "Time for ship's biscuits," he said. "We've only got chocolate digestives," said Rosie. "No, in the game. Mr. Ship says that's what they used to eat when he was a sailor." "Oh," said Rosie. "They're in the back. The stern." "They've gone," she said. "I put them in there and they've gone. I bet you've eaten them." "No, I haven't," said Robin very crossly. "I bet you have." "Have not," said Rosie even crosser, and they were pushing each other quite hard when an awful made them stop. They turned round to see the seagull with the bent wing. It had one webbed foot on a piece of chocolate biscuit and was pecking lumps off it. "Gosh," said Robin, "the seagull must have taken them." "Robin, Rosie, have you two nuisances had my yard brush?" "Oh, yes, Mum," said Robin. "It's the mast of our ship." "Oh, that's good," said Mrs. Cockle. "But I'm afraid you'll have to put into harbour for repairs. I want to sweep the path." They fished the brush out of the cardboard box. "Mummy," said Rosie, "the seagull's stolen our ship's biscuits." "Oh, it must be a pirate seagull." "A pirate?" said Rosie. "A pirate's a bad sailor who robs other sailors and sinks their ships," said their mother. "Oh," said Robin. "Can we give him a pirate name?" Said Helen Cockle, thinking. "How about Ben Gunn? He was quite a nice pirate." "Oh, yes," said Robin and Rosie, both together. "Now, come in and have some lunch. You can sail round the world again this afternoon when I've swept the path." They both thought that was a very good idea. "Bye-bye, Ben Gunn," they said, and the seagull squawked. Ben Gunn, the old seagull with a bent wing, had been looking for scraps around the Cockle's dustbin. Now he was listening, with his head on one side and shuffling his big webbed feet, to the awful din that was coming from the kitchen
of the Bucket and Spade guest house. And if the noise outside was bad, inside it was even worse.
Again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down. And when they were only halfway up, they were neither up nor down. Oh, the Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10
Here!
He marched them
Here,
up,
you too!
he marched them down
Robin,
again. And when
Rosie,
they were up,
hey!
and when they were down, they were down. And when
Stop!
they were only halfway up.
Oh, hello. Did you want us? I should think I did. I can't hear myself think. And I can't hear myself talk, said Helen Cockle, their mother. And I can't even hear myself shout, said their father, Christopher Cockle. And I can't get any work done for the racket. And neither can we, said Mrs. Cockle and Gran Rowty, both together. Sorry, said Robin with a grin. We were being a band, said Rosie. Well, said Mr. Cockle, it was a good band. And I liked the tune, said Gran Rowty, what I could hear of it. Oh, yes, agreed Mrs. Cockle. Very nice. I only hope my lids are still in one piece. Oh, they are, said Robin. Oh, yes, said Rosie. Well, the cake tin's got a little bit of a dent in it. Well, that's all right, said their mother. But I think we'd all be able to get on with our jobs if you two went out. Ah, agreed Gran Rowty. That we would. And it's a nice day, chipped in their father, so you hop it and play. All right, said Robin. We'll go and see if Mr. Ship's in. See you later, said Rosie. I didn't think we were all that noisy, said Rosie. And Robin agreed. I could have banged a lot harder, he said. Anyway, shall we go and see if Mr. Ship's in? Yes, let's, said Rosie. And then she said, no, let's go and see if Fury's in first. Oh, yes, said Robin. Well, you go and see him, and I'll catch up in a minute. Where are you going? Asked Robin. But Rosie was already on her way. You'll see, she called back at him. He muttered, and went across the garden towards the hole in the fence. Fury, the donkey, who was sometimes down on the beach giving rides to children on holiday, was having a day off and looking at the world over the top of his stable door. Hello, Fury, said Robin. Hello, old boy. And he stroked Fury's nose, which the donkey seemed to like an awful lot. I haven't got anything for you to eat today, Robin said to him. I should have got some bread from the kitchen. But I've got something for you. It was Rosie, and she was carrying a small cabbage and a bunch of carrots. I got them out of the vegetable garden, she panted. Mummy said it'd be all right. That's not fair. Robin was upset. You should have told me. I haven't got any now. Well, I thought of it, said Rosie. But you should have told me, said Robin again. And Rosie thought that perhaps she should have told him, really. So she said, well, you can give him the cabbage, and I'll give him the carrots. And then Robin thought that he should have thought of getting some food for Fury himself, and that he shouldn't have made a fuss about it. So he said, thanks, Rosie. Sorry I shouted. It's all right, said Rosie. Here, Fury, have a carrot. Fury was just about to open his mouth for the carrot when... Oh, gosh! Oh, whatever's that? It's coming from Mr. Ship's. Come on! Quick! Said Rosie. Oh, here, Fury! And she dropped the food into Fury's stable and ran after Robin. Mr. Ship! Are you all right? Oh. Hello, my dears. You been calling me? Yes. We didn't know what the noise was, said Robin. Noise? Said Mr. Ship. Noise? That weren't noise. That was music. Well, said Rosie, it was sort of noisy music. Well, maybe you're right. And maybe it was more noise than music. I've forgotten how to play my old fiddle. It's so long since I've seen it. Where did you get it, Mr. Ship? Well, that all depends on what you mean. said Rosie. What do you mean, what we mean?
Well, I got it from South America when I was sailing round the world. Well, I didn't get it from South America this morning.
Oh, no.
Oh, this morning I got it out of my old sea chest, where it's been for many a long year. I'm doing a bit of spring cleaning, you see.
Oh, said Rosie. You're not going to send us off while you do the dusting, are you?
Oh, no. I'll finish that this afternoon. I'll play another tune on my violin if you like.
I thought you said it was a fiddle, Mr. Ship.
Oh, well, fiddle's just another name for a violin, said Mr. Ship, only not quite so posh.
Oh, Mr. Ship?
Yes, Rosie?
Could we play as well?
Oh, yes, said Robin.
Could we?
Well, said Mr. Ship, I don't see how. It only needs 2 hands, one for the fiddle and one for the bow.
No, Mr. Ship. Can we play our own things?
Things? Said Mr. Ship, still puzzled. What things?
Have you got a cake tin lid, a wooden spoon, and 2 pan lids?
Oh, said the old sailor. Things like that. Ah, well, I dare say I have. Hang on.
And he went into the boat shed.
Here we are, he said. Is this what you're after?
Oh,
yes,
said Robin and Rosie, both together.
Right,
said Mr. Ship, once they'd all got their instruments ready.
now, what are we going to play?
Well, said Robin, we're best at the Grand Old Duke of York. Yes, agreed Rosie, but we've practiced that.
Righto, then that's what we'll play, said Mr. Ship. Now, let's see now where... Ah, yes, I remember. Right. Off we go then. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh, the Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched down again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down. And when they were halfway up, they were neither up nor down. The famous Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill.
Rosie!
Hang on,
Shouted Mr. Ship.
I think I hear someone a-calling.
Rosie, hang on. Mr. Ship thinks he can hear someone calling. Oh,
Robin! Rosie!
oh yes. And Fury stopped ee-awing, and Ben Gunn stopped squawking. Whew, said Mr. Cockle. I think we got through. Come on, you noisy lot, called Mrs. Cockle. It's time for lunch. And time you stop disturbing the neighbourhood, Mr. Shipham, called Gran Rowty with a smile.
Well, you come and help with my spring cleaning, Mrs. Rowty, and I'll let you sing in her next concert.
Mr. Ship laughed back. Well, are you satisfied with all the noise you've been making? Oh, yes, grinned Rosie.
And we're starving.
And they all went in for lunch. Cockles, Robin and Rosie and their mother and father Helen and Christopher were finishing the cup of coffee that they always had after lunch. And Gran Rowty was finishing the cup of tea that she always had.
Ah, she said, that's better.
Well, now I'd better get on with the kitchen. Oh, Gran, said Mrs. Cockle, I wonder if you'll do the bedrooms this afternoon. But it's my kitchen day, Mrs. C, said Gran Rowty. Bedrooms is tomorrow. Yes, I know, said Helen Cockle, but I want to... there's something I want to do in the kitchen myself. Oh. Gran Rowty looked puzzled. All right, I'll do the bedrooms then, and I'd better get started. Mrs. Cockle waited for Gran to go, and then... Listen, she whispered to the others. I was talking to Mr. Ship yesterday, and he told me that today is Gran Rowty's birthday. Oh, a birthday, said Robin and Rosie together. And Mr. Cockle said it'd be nice to get her a present. I'm going to make a special birthday tea for Gran, said Mrs. Cockle very quietly, but it's got to be a surprise. Oh, great, said Robin. Ooh, said Rosie, I like secrets. Yes, well, make sure you keep it, said Christopher Cockle. Oh, yes, we will, said Robin and Rosie both together. And now you better go and play and let me get on while Gran's upstairs, said their mother. I'll call you when tea's ready. A few moments later, Robin and Rosie came out of the back door, and Rosie was carrying a paper bag. What have you got? Asked Robin. Shh, said Rosie. Come on, let's go to Mr. Ship's yard. But I'll tell you then. Now, said Robin, what have you got? I've got some currants and raisins, said Rosie, and a slice of bread and jam and a carrot. Oh, great, said Robin. We can feed Fury. It's not for Fury, Rosie said. Anyway, donkeys don't eat jam. Well, said Robin, they don't eat currants either. Oh, stop being silly, said Rosie. This is important. It's to make a cake. A cake? Robin was very puzzled. A cake for Gran Rowty, said Rosie. A birthday cake. Wow! Robin was very excited. Great! Oh, we haven't got an oven. And cakes need flour, don't they? Oh. Rosie suddenly felt very silly. I'd forgotten. Oh, bother. Wait a bit. I've got an idea. Mr. Ship! Mr. Ship! And Rosie called too. Mr. Ship! Mr. Ship! Hello, my dears! Now then, what's all the excitement? Oh, Mr. Ship, it's Gran Rowty's birthday. Her mum's making a special tea, and it's got to be a secret. And we want to make a birthday cake, and we haven't... Whoa, 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 bless my barnacles. The way you talk is like a storm at sea. Now then, let's start again. Well, said Rosie, we've got some of the things to make a cake, but we can't cook it, said Robin, so I thought we could make it with some of your special powder. Why, special powder? Mr. Ship looked puzzled. That you keep in your shed, said Rosie. For mending walls, said Robin. Oh, plaster! Laughed Mr. Ship. Stuff that goes solid without cooking. Yes, said Robin and Rosie, both together. Well, said Mr. Ship, still laughing, I suppose you could have enough for a cake. Here, hang on, I'll put you some in a tin. There, he said. Now, if you mix the water with the powder, and you put the other bits in, you'll have a cake in no time. Oh, thank you, Mr. Ship, said Robin and Rosie, both together. But I'll have to leave you to get on with it, said Mr. Ship, because I'm going to buy a... Well, I'm going to do a bit of shopping. All right, Mr. Ship, said Rosie, and... Bye, Mr. Ship, they said, and then they started to make their cake.
Robin! Rosie! Yes, Mum? Time to come and get washed. Tea's ready. Coming,
called Rosie, and she said to Robin, "Come on, it's Gran's birthday tea, and bring the cake." "Of course I'll bring the cake," said Robin. "Hey, wait for me!" When Robin and Rosie came in, the table was already set. "Gosh," said Robin, "sausage rolls, and sandwiches, and jelly, and trifle, and party hats!" They squeaked together. "Hey, shh, quiet you two, Gran will hear," said Mr. Cockle. "She's just coming downstairs. Now quickly, sit over there and get your hats." "She's here." "Goodness gracious me," said Gran as she came into the room. "That's a fancy table. What's going on?" "Happy birthday," said Mrs. Cockle, and "Happy birthday," said Robin and Rosie and Mr. Cockle all together. "Well, I never," said Gran Rowty. "Oh, however did you know it was my birthday?" "'Cause I told 'em," said a voice, and it was Mr. Ship poking his head round the door. "Happy birthday, my dear. And hang on, I got a little something for you." He came in and put a square cardboard box on the table. "And I've got something too." "But we've got something as well," said Robin and Rosie, and 2 more cardboard boxes were put on the table. "Well," said Gran Rowty, "well, it's just as well I've got something for us all." And she went into the hall. "I wonder what it is. Gosh, this is exciting." "There," said Gran as she came back into the room, and she put another cardboard box on the table. "I've made you all a birthday cake." "Oh, goodness me," said Mrs. Cockle, "and I've made a birthday cake." "Bless my barnacles," said Mr. Ship, "and I've bought a birthday cake." "Oh, wow," said Gran Rowty, and We've made a birthday cake." And then everyone laughed and laughed. And when they'd had a really good laugh, they all had a really good sing. And they sang, "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Gran Rowty. Happy birthday to me." Then they all sat down to tea and birthday cakes. Shine and sound. There are shops that sell ices and bright-coloured kites that will fly from a string in your hand. There are white-painted houses along the seafront, and one's called the Bucket and Spade. It's where people stay and 2 children play with all the good friends that they've made. So meet Robin and Rosie of Cockleshell Bay. Mr. and Mrs. Cockle were working away in the kitchen, getting things ready for lunch. Oh dear, more rubber carrots. Rubber? Well, you know, we had them in too long. Oh, floppy. Oh, well, I know someone who'll find a good home for those. Robin! Rosie! Great! Fury! Smashing! Come on, Robin! Oh, thanks, Dad. Coming! Hello, Fury! Hello, boy! Good boy! We brought you some carrots. Yeah, 'cause we know you love them. Ah, he does that, so he does. Hello, Mr. Fingal. Hello to both of you. Oh, yes. It's a wonder he isn't the world's first ginger donkey with all the carrots you've given him. Sure, it was only a joke. Had we better give him some carrots before he gets cross, Mr. Fingal? Well, you had so. Great. Be all that's wonderful. And aren't I forgetting? Oh, forgetting what, Mr. Fingal? Well, forgetting Fury's present. Oh, have you got him a present? Oh, no. I mean the present he's given me for you. Oh, Mr. Fingal, I've a lovely little present here, and I won't be using him again. Give him these, says he. Oh, Mr. Fingal, what are they? It's a bag of sweets. Well, no, not sweets, but marbles. Marbles? Wow. Oh, thank you, Mr. Fingal. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Fingal. Well, not me. Fury. Oh, Mr. Fingal, you're teasing. Yeah, donkeys don't have marbles. No, of course not. Ah, is that so now? Well, I'd have you know that Fury here was the best marbles player in the whole of Ballymcginty. Oh, yes, won the championship he did against 3 farmers, 7 pigs, and Colm O'Rourke's Billy Goat himself he did. Mr. Fingal, you are teasing. Now, how can you say... Well, maybe I am just a little bit. But anyway, it's just a little thank you for all the love and the carrots that you give old Fury here. Oh, thank you, Mr. Fingal. Mr. Fingal, what do you do with marbles? Do? Well, sure you play with them. Yes, but how? Well, by the stones of Knockmagarry, fancy not knowing that. Here, I'll show you. Oh, great. Well, now look, you take a marble, Rosie, and just roll it along the ground. Where, Mr. Fingal? Well, anywhere you like that's not too rough and not too near or too far either. Like this. Sure, that'll do nicely. Now then, the other player. Well, say it's me for now. He tries to roll his marble so it hits the other one. And if it does, I win a marble from you. Yes, I see. I think I do. Right, so here I go. Missed. Now it's your turn to try and hit mine. That's it. Well, good. Oh, that was great, Rosie. Nearly hit it. Well, now, you see, if you had hit it, then I'd have had to give you a marble. Only, I've given them all to you already. So, now do you see? Yes. Right, well then, Rosie, you share them out with Robin. Half each, eh? Yes, right. One for you, and one for me. And for me. Right. Half each. Well, you start then. Okay, here goes then. There. That's the way. That's it. Now, I'll try to hit it. No. Missed by miles. That wasn't bad at all. So it's my turn to try and hit Rosie's now, is it, Mr. Fingal? Yeah, that's the idea, Robin. That's right. Come on now, come on. Right, here I go then. Yes! Ooh, good shot, Robin. And now I have to give him a marble, do I? That's right. Oh, not the one you're playing with, though. One of the others. Ah, right. Well, here you are then, Robin. Thanks.
Hello, my dears.
Hello, Mr. Ship.
Morning, Mr. Fingal.
Yes, and top of the morning to you, Mr. Ship. Mr. Fingle's given us some marbles, Mr. Ship.
Yes, and we're playing a game with them.
Well, yes, I saw you as I came across from my place, but, well, you ain't a-playing it right.
Aren't we, Mr. Ship?
Bless my barnacles, no.
Here, I showed them how to play. What's wrong with the way they're doing it?
Well, I mean, there ain't no circle.
No circle? There never was a circle. We never had a circle in Ballymcginty.
Then you wasn't a-playing marbles right in Ballymel-What's-it.
I like that. What's the circle for, Mr. Ship?
Well, my dears, here, you draws a circle on the ground. Hang on, I got a bit of chalk somewhere, I believe. Ah, right. Now then, you draws a circle about this big, right?
Yes. Circle.
And then each of you puts a couple of marbles in the middle.
Oh, well, I'll put two of mine in the middle.
Yeah, and I'll put two of mine. Good. Right. Now then, you all takes turns in dropping a marble onto the ones in the middle by holding it like this, and dropping it. Ah, now see, I've knocked one of them marbles out of the ring altogether. So I keeps that one, and I tries again, see?
Oh, yes.
And then if I don't knock one out of the ring, then it's the next player's turn.
Blarney, pure Blarney. There's no such game.
Oh, yes, there is.
There is not.
I tell you, Mr. Fingal, there is.
And I tell you, Mr. Ship, there is not.
Here, what are you two a-laughing at?
Yes, what? Oh, I'm sorry, but
You sound just like us.
Yeah, when we're arguing.
Well,
Huh. Well, Mrs. O'Flaherty's cow. You're right.
oh, bless my barnacles, they are right, Mr. Fingal. Just like Robin and Rosie, having a silly argument.
Hello, hello. Did I hear you say as these two was having one of their silly arguments then? No. No, Gran. They were having an argument. And what was they arguing about, like? About marbles, Gran. About marbles? Yeah, Mr. Fingal gave us some marbles, and Mr. Ship says you play with them in a circle, and Mr. Fingal says you just roll them at one another. Such nonsense. They're both wrong.
What?
You plays marbles with a hole. A hole?
A hole?
A hole? That's right. You scoop a little hole in the ground. Each player has to roll a handful of marbles at it. And them as falls in the hole, he keeps. You don't. I never heard such a thing.
Wow. That beats all.
Here, that's not the way grown-ups argued and argued. Robin looked at Rosie, and Rosie looked at Robin. And Rosie said, I don't think they'll ever stop arguing.
No. And I'm starving. So am I. Well, why don't we... Yes. Good idea.
So taking their marbles and tiptoeing away, Robin and Rosie left Gran and Mr. Ship and Mr. Fingal still arguing, and both went home for lunch. There are shops that sell ices and bright-coloured kites
that will fly from a string in your hand. There are white-painted houses along the seafront, and one's called the Bucket and Spade. It's where people stay and two children play with all the good friends that they've made. So meet Robin and Rosie of Cockleshell Bay. It was the middle of the day in Cockleshell Bay, and most people, like Robin and Rosie, had gone inside to have their lunch. So Mr. Ship wasn't working on his boat, and he wasn't working in his shed. Mr. Fingal had left Fury tethered to the stable and had given him his food in a bucket. Robin and Rosie had been helping Mr. Cockle in the vegetable garden, but now there was no sign of life outside the back door of the Bucket and Spade guest house. Well, no sign of life until Ben Gunn the seagull came waddling round the corner. He looked about as if he were a bit surprised that there was no one else around. Then he sidled towards the dustbin in the hope that someone might have dropped a crust or a bit of bacon rind. It was then that he saw the other seagull. Somehow or other, it seemed to Ben that the other seagull was staring at him. What's more, every time he squawked, the other seagull opened its beak at him in a very rude way. He tried to frighten off the intruder by flapping his wings at him, but instead of running away, the unknown cheeky bird flapped his wings back. Said Ben, and the other seagull put his head down and hissed back. That was too much for Ben. He took a peck at the invader, and their beaks banged together. They made a very strange noise, too, not at all like beaks. But the stranger still didn't run away. Ben glared at him, and he glared at Ben. He didn't behave like any other seagull Ben had ever met, and he was puzzled. In the end, he just walked away in disgust towards the vegetable patch. And when he looked back, the stranger had gone. He pecked at a cabbage, pulled at a carrot top, and thought he heard a worm wriggling in the soil. It didn't come out, though, and as he turned away, he saw it again. The strange seagull. How dare it come into his vegetable garden? It'd be eating his carrots next. He pecked at it, and this time it made a different noise. Peck, peck, peck. It was still there. Ben pecked harder and harder, and suddenly the second seagull just disappeared. That was too much for Ben. He turned tail and paddled off as fast as he could go. So he didn't even see Mr. Cockle as he came out to investigate a noise that Robin and Rosie said they'd heard. By then, Ben Gunn was well away. Hunting about, just by the side of the old boat, he found an egg. A very round egg, with funny markings on it. He waddled up to it and gave it a little push, and it rolled away from him. He followed it and tried to smell this funny egg, but as soon as he touched it, it rolled away from him again. He got a little bit cross with it this time, and when he caught up with it, he gave it a sharp peck. It ran away and jumped into the boat. Ben started to waddle after it, and then he stopped. He peered into the hole, waiting to see if the egg would jump out again. Perhaps it was hiding, playing a game. He looked at the darkness of the hole, and he decided not to go in after it. Being a seagull living in the open sky, he didn't really like little dark places. Besides, who knows what a jumping egg might do if it lost its temper? So Ben left it in peace and strutted further into the boatyard, grumbling quietly to himself. He took a careful look round on the ground near the door of Mr. Ship's shed, because sometimes Mr. Ship would eat his sandwiches out there. When he had done, there'd be crumbs, or even a bit of cheese if the seagull were very lucky. Today, though, he wasn't lucky. No crumbs and no cheese. But there was a worm. It was a funny-looking worm, but Ben didn't care about that. He sneaked up on it so that it wouldn't wriggle away. But it didn't move at all. Then the big seagull pounced and heaved. It was a very thin, very pale worm, but it was very, very long. Ben tugged and heaved and tugged. He struggled backwards into the shed with the thing, and he struggled backwards out again. Up and down, back and forth, until the worm had wrapped itself around nearly everything that Mr. Ship had, inside or outside his shed. And then Ben realized that after all that, the worm had a funny taste that he didn't like at all. He dropped it, looked at it crossly, squawked at it, and wandered off to find something worth eating. So he didn't even hear Mr. Ship trip over the worm as he came out after his lunch, falling down with a crash.
Here, who in the steaming Sargasso sea has unwound my ball of string? Wait till I catches 'em. I'll make 'em walk the plank, I will. I'll keel all 'em, I will and all.
By then, the seagull had found his way into the corner of the yard where Fury lived in a little stable. The donkey was still outside on his own, looking about him, and every now and then dipping his nose into the bucket and munching the feed Paddy Fingal had left him. Ah, donkey food. Now that might be just what a hungry seagull could do with. Better than a long, thin worm with a nasty taste. Fury looked up from his lunch and saw Ben watching him. He blew, feeling a bit uncomfortable, wondering what the seagull wanted. Ben knew very well what he wanted, and he waddled nearer to the bucket and nearer. Fury was, well, furious. Cheeky bird, trying to take his food. Ben Gunn had jumped back, but he edged up again, dodging a little bit this way and a little bit that way so that Fury wasn't sure which way he was coming from. And then he stood still. Fury watched him, and he watched Fury. And just as the donkey had decided that Ben wasn't going to try again, he did. That time, Ben very nearly snatched some of the donkey's feed, but Fury wasn't going to let him. This time, the donkey came after the seagull, snorting and blowing and ready to push him away. Ben didn't like it. He edged away, trying to get round the back of Fury. But Fury turned with him and then lurched at him to try and give the bird's tail feathers a nip. Ben spun round as fast as he could and pecked Fury on the nose. That made Fury really cross. He tossed his head and went after Ben, who dodged this way and that. And then, all at once, crash! The bucket of feed went over, spilling it all over the place. Ben Gunn dodged in, grabbed a piece of the feed in his beak, and was off. And that was the last that anyone saw of Ben Gunn that day. Although, when Paddy Fingal arrived to see what all the noise was about...
Behold, it's wonderful. What's going on here?
He did find a seagull's tail feather outside the stable.
Ah, well now, Fury, has that piratical old seagull been tormenting you? I might have known.
And Mr. Ship, scratching his head over the mess his shed was in, found a feather too.
Bless my barnacles if it ain't all that bloomin' seagull's doing.
Soon after that, Robin and Rosie found another feather by the dustbin.
Dad, a feather.
I think it's one of Ben Gunn's. Ben Gunn? What's he been up to, I wonder? Gosh, my glass frame. I wonder if he could have had anything to do with that.
Gosh, yes. I wonder.
But no one ever knew for sure. And soon, Robin and Rosie got down to another Cockleshell Bay adventure.
But that is another story. Cockleshell Bay is a town near the sea with seagulls and sunshine and sound. There are shops that sell ices and bright-coloured kites that will fly from a string in your hand. There are white-painted houses along the seafront, and one's called the Bucket and Spade. It's where people stay and two children play with all the good friends that they've made. So meet Robin and Rosie of Cockleshell Bay. There. Oh. Hello, Mr. Ship. Oh, hello, my dears. Come a visiting, have you?
Yes. Has the postman been, Mr. Ship?
Postman? Oh, I don't think so, Rosie.
Only you've got so many parcels, Mr. Ship.
Parcels? Oh, why, they ain't a-coming in, my dear. They're a-going out.
Going out?
I'm having a clear out. Getting rid of rubbish. These here cardboard boxes is just rubbish.
Gosh, this one's huge. I can only reach the bottom if I stretch and stretch and... Oof! Oh!
You all right, Rosie?
Yeah, it's great. Hey, I'm in a submarine. Hey, yeah. Stand by to dive. Glug, 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 glug.
Oh, very good. Here, Robin, you'd better try one for size and all.
Oh, yeah, great. This one.
Right, go on then.
Oh, it's got a lid on it. I'll just fold this back. And this. And... hey, look! Wings! It's an aeroplane! Ready for takeoff! Here we go!
Well, I never. A submarine and an aeroplane in my old boatyard at the same time.
I'm coming up from the sea now. Yeah, and I'm going to land my jet. Landing, landing, wheels down, bump. I'm down.
Welcome back, the pair of you. I hope you had a good trip.
Yes, thanks.
Wow. Here, I got a long, thin box here.
Oh, yes.
Now then, that'd fit the pair of you.
Oh, yeah, it would. Hey, come on, Rosie. Great. Hey, can I sit in front? Yeah, okay.
And what are you in now, eh?
Oh, it's a two-seater jet plane. No, it's not. It's a two-seater submarine. It is not. There's no such thing. I bet there is. There isn't.
Here, hold on. If you two's going to argue, I'll have my boxes back.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Ship.
Well, bless my barnacles, I should hope so. Can't you think of something as you could both be in?
Well, what about... no. Oh, let's... Oh, yeah, I know. What? It could be a canoe. Ooh, yeah, great, a two-seater canoe.
Ah, well now, I knows about canoes. And I knows as you needs a paddle apiece. Here, hang on.
Gosh, fancy Mr. Ship knowing about canoes.
Yeah, I know. Still, he knows all about big boats, and I suppose canoes are just little big boats.
Yeah.
Here we are. It's not exactly what I had in mind, but they'll do.
Oh, great. Thank you,
Thanks.
Mr. Ship. Now we can paddle up the river.
Yeah. Sploosh. Sploosh. Splash.
There.
Paddle. Splash.
Mr. Ship,
Yes, my dear.
how do you know about canoes?
I've been in 'em when I was in Africa.
Gosh, Africa?
Aha! Sailed up the River Ubangi I did, in a great big canoe made out of a tree trunk with the middle hollowed out. Gosh! Ooh, look here.
What?
Just what I seen from that big canoe on the Ubangi. Crocodiles.
Crocodiles?
Crocodiles a-swimming in the water, like logs with teeth, swimming nearer to the canoe.
Oh, crumbs. What shall we do?
Well, you'd better do what we did when we was there.
What, Mr. Ship?
Oh, well, you'd better bang 'em on the nose with your paddles.
Right. Ooh, get off, crocodiles. Go on, shoot.
Shoo! Go on.
Take that. Hooray! Oh, what, Rosie? We've scared them off. Oh, yes. Hooray!
Well done. Well done. What a brave pair, frightening off a monster like that. Here, that's given me an idea, that has.
An idea, Mr. Ship. What for? Yeah, and what's given me an idea?
Oh, well, talking about monsters, that's given me an idea. We ain't never had a monster in Cockleshell Bay.
No.
No, and it's time as we did. Now then, I shall need some paint for this, and a couple of boxes. Bless my barnacles. That's the monsterest monster as ever I seen.
Oh, great.
Are you all right under there?
Yeah.
Right then. Well now, it's time for our monster to visit the Bucket and Spade guest house.
Oh, great. Right, Robin. 1, 2, 3. Hup. Off we go then.
Well, follow me, Mr. Monster. Follow me.
Ooh! Oh, heavens bless us! 'Tis the terrible sea monster of Cockleshell Bay. Oh, what a dreadful sight! I hope as how it hasn't eaten Robin and Rosie for lunch. Yes, I have. And I'm going to eat you up too. Ooh, lovers, Mr. Ship. It's got 2 voices.
War. Remarkable monster it is, and no mistake.
Ooh, well. Oh, it is a pity as how it's eaten Robin and Rosie. And an even greater pity if it ate me. Why? 'Cause then, Mr. Monster, you'd have no room left for cheese and chutney sandwiches.
Cheese and chutney? Oh, great!
Oh, good heavens! It's Robin and Rosie.
Oh, you knew.
Well, I loved your monster, though.
Mr. Shep made it.
Wow, it's lovely. And has it eaten enough, or is it still hungry, eh?
Oh, Gran, it's starving.
I thought he might be.
And with that, Robin and Rosie left the monster fast asleep in the sun, and they all went in for lunch. Cockleshell Bay is a town near the sea, with seagulls and sunshine and sound. There are shops that sell ices, and bright-coloured kites that will fly from a string in your hand. There are white-painted houses along the seafront, and one's called the Bucket and Spade. It's where people stay, and two children play, with all the good friends that they've made. So meet Robin and Rosie of Cockleshell Bay.
Hello, Dad. Ooh. What's he doing? I don't know. He's looking at something, I think. But he must be in the dark if he's got something over his head.
Yes. It was dark under there. Mummy put some stuff in this bowl of hot water and I've been breathing in the steam to try and clear my head.
I like the funny smell. I'd forgotten you'd got a cold, Dad.
I haven't. It's a real stinker.
How did you get it?
Oh, no idea.
What's that, Chris? Daddy says he doesn't know how he caught his cold.
He does. Went out without his coat to look at a building site with Mr. Bolster and got soaked to the skin.
Oh, yes.
Silly thing. Finish with the bowl, Chris.
Oh, yes, love.
Any better?
Not so you'd notice.
Not so you'd notice.
Yeah.
Oh, ha, ha, ha. Very funny. What a cruel pair. Here, Chris. I'll take that lot into the kitchen.
Mum,
Yes?
why do people get colds?
Well, they pick up a germ.
A germ?
A very, very tiny thing called a virus.
Gosh! But if they're so tiny, how can they make you poorly?
They stop your body working properly until your body can work out how to beat them.
Beat them?
It sounds like a fight. Well, it is. A sort of battle. A fight between the viruses and special bits in your blood that kill them off.
And will Daddy be able to...
Oh, yes. Daddy will be a lot better by tomorrow.
Yes. He doesn't sound very well now. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Gosh.
No, he doesn't. Well, maybe we can think of something to cheer him up.
Oh, yes. But what?
Well, I did think...
Morning, all.
Oh, hello,
Morning,
Gran. How are you?
Oh, can't grumble. How are you all?
Daddy's got an awful cold.
Oh, dear, he is bad, ain't he? I'll take him a cup of tea. Do him good.
Well, there's a fresh brew in the pot, Gran.
Right you are, my dear.
Mum, you were saying we might be able to cheer Dad up.
Oh, yes. Well, now listen.
I thought
that we could. I brought you a nice cup of tea.
Hello, Gran. That's very kind of you.
You should have come straight home and put your feet in a hot mustard bath.
Oh, Gran. No one uses hot water and mustard these days. Oh, blow, look at that.
Oh, heavens bless us, Mr. C. It's a wonder you didn't sneeze me back home again. Here, just as well I got a cloth.
Oh, dear. I'm sorry, Gran.
Got a cold in your nose and can't say plum jam, eh? What's that? Got a cold in the nose and can't say plum jam. That's what my old mum used to say to me when I was all bunged up like you are.
Well, I certainly can't say plum jam. I can't say marmalade either.
Ta-ra! Oh!
Whatever's this?
We are the Cockleshell Bay Poorly Persons Concert Party. Yes, specialists in... specialists in banishing gloom and bringing cheer to the sick room.
Good heavens, think of that.
Oh, here, I likes your hats. Oh, we got them at a friend of Robin's birthday party. Yeah, mine's too big, though. Keeps slipping over my eyes. Well, now, Cockleshell Bay Poorly Persons Concert Party, what are you going to do with this poorly person here?
Oh, Gran, give over.
We're going to perform a special poem composed for... a poem specially composed for the, occasion. I know. A poem specially composed for the occasion and, heck, Mummy, what's that word? Entitled. It just means called. I know it means called. I was telling them. Well, they know it means called. How do you know?
Any chance of actually hearing the poem specially composed for the occasion and entitled?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Dad. Go on, Rosie. Poem specially composed for the occasion and entitled Mr. Cockle's Common Cold.
Oh, yes. Cheeky things.
Now this will be worth hearing.
Yes, if they can remember it.
Oh, Daddy, we've got it written down. Yeah, just a minute. There. Right. Well, go on. Well, I thought you were starting. No, you start, then it's me, then it's both of us. Oh, Mum, stop laughing. I'm sorry. Well, I don't know what this is doing for your dad, but it's certainly cheering your mother up. Oh, dear. Right. Come on, Robin. Start. All right. When Mr. Cockle has a cold, ooh, it makes him feel he's very old. Oh? He buys all medicines ever sold. He should have worn his coat when told. Her cheek. Very good. Very good. When Mr. Cockle has a sneeze, it's like a very powerful breeze. It blows down signposts, even trees, and brings huge dragons to their knees. Achoo! Oh, blow. My hat slipped again. I can't see what... Oh, got it. Sorry, Rosie. Ready? Yeah. Last verse, then. Yeah. When Mr. Cockle has a cough, the calmest seas become quite rough. Grown sailors tremble, though they're tough. And even whales shout, "Stop! Enough!"
Oh, that was smashing.
Well, it worked. The Poorly Persons Concert Party has definitely cheered this sick room up.
Oh, yes. It was lovely, my dears, lovely. Great. Very unkind to your poor suffering father, but great. And fancy you making all that up by yourselves. It wasn't us, Dad. It was Mummy.
Yes, I had a feeling it might be.
Yeah.
Well, very good, both of you.
Are you feeling any better, Dad?
Well, I think I might be.
That means the germs are getting beaten.
Yeah, by those things in your blood.
Yes.
Ooh, what, Robin?
Oh, it's just got a sort of a tickle in my throat.
A tickle?
It's nothing really. It's just Asher!
Oh, no.
What is it, Mummy?
I think Robin's gone and caught a cold.
Oh, no.
Oh, bless us. Well, you know what they say, Mrs. C. What's that, Gran?
Feed a cold and starve a fever. Asher!
And we'd better get his cold fed right away. And so, with the odd sneeze from Mr. Cockle,
Asher!
and the odd sneeze from Robin,
Asher!
they all got ready for lunch. Bay is a town near the sea with seagulls and sunshine and sound. There are shops that sell ices and bright-coloured kites that will fly from a string in your hand. There are white-painted houses along the seafront, and one's called the Bucket and Spade. It's where people stay and two children play with all the good friends that they've made. So meet Robin and Rosie of Cockleshell Bay.
Hello, Mum. Hello, Gran. Hello. Hello.
Oh, hello.
What do you say, Mrs. C?
I said hello.
Oh, hello.
No, I said hello to the children.
Hey? Oh, hello, you two.
Hello.
It's the Hoover. You couldn't hear us. You what, my dear? It's the Hoover, the noise.
Oh, sorry, Robin, we can't hear you. It's the Hoover.
That's what we said.
Just a minute.
Oh, that's better.
Now, Robin, what were you saying?
Well, we were only saying that you couldn't hear us saying hello because of the noise of the Hoover.
I see.
Mum, why does it make that noise?
Well, it's just the air, really.
Air? Air doesn't make a noise.
Well, I mean things going through the air, or the air going through things.
What things, Mum?
Hey-ho, I thought it was work time and it's going to be question time instead.
Oh, Mum. What things? Yes, what makes the noise?
Well, inside here is an electric motor, and the motor makes a fan go round very fast.
A fan?
Yeah, like paddles that go round and round.
Ah,
The fan pushes the air out of the back and into the bag, so more air rushes in at the front and sucks up the dust with it.
hey, great. But what makes the noise? Well, it's the paddles, the blades of the fan rushing round and round in the air. How can that make a noise? Well, have you ever swished a cane about in the air or a bit of a branch off a tree? Oh, yes, and it goes swoosh. Exactly. And that's the air making a noise too. Gosh. Mum, can I have a go with the hoover? I suppose so. Just a little go. Oh, and you can have a little go too. Yes, Rosie. Great. Where do I switch on, Mum? It's on the handle. Oh yeah, right. There. Now, move it backwards and forwards to pick up the bits. Like this. That's it. Good. Ooh, here, hang on. There's an air grip on the floor. It won't like that. There, right you are. Oh, no, me duster. Oh, heck. Switch off quick. Oh, crumbs. There. Ooh, my duster. Gosh, I'm sorry, Gran. Where's it gone? Oh, dear, it's all wrapped round the works. Now I'll have to pull the plug out and unwind the thing. Sorry, Mum. Oh, can't be helped. Not when you're only learning to drive. It doesn't matter about my go, Mummy. All right, Rosie. Here, why don't the two of you get a breath of fresh air while your mum and me sorts this lot out, eh? Oh, yes. Okay, thanks. I'm sorry about the duster, Gran. Oh, it's all right. Let's go and see if Fury's in his stable. Oh, yeah, good idea. I think I've got a toffee in my pocket. I can give him that. Great. Hello there, the both of you. Hello, Mr. Fingal. Gosh, Mr. Fingal, are you cleaning things as well? Well, I am so. I'm cleaning Fury's tack. His tack, Mr. Fingal? What's that? Ah, sure. It's what we call his harness. His reins and his saddle and all the leather stuff, do you see? Oh, yeah. Tack. It's a funny name. Ah, well, no. There's all sorts of funny names when it comes to harness. There's cabesons and bridoons and snaffle bits. There's girth tabs and pommels and cantles and I don't know what. Gosh. What are you cleaning it with, Mr. Fingal? Oh, well, I've got all the dirt off, do you see? And now I'm feeding the leather. With some stuff that has another funny name. Neat's foot oil. That is a funny name. Feeding the leather, Mr. Fingal. Well, you know, rubbing the oil in to keep it soft so it doesn't go all stiff and hard. Sure, Fury wouldn't like it at all if it was hard. No. Hey, I've got something he will like, though. Fury says he knows what it is, too. It's stuck to the inside of my pocket. Well, that's just what I thought, Fury. It is a sweetie, so it is. Ooh, you're right, Mr. Fingal. It is. Got it. Here, boy. There. How did you know it was a sweet, Mr. Fingal? Ah, sure, well, no. And didn't Fury tell me? Oh, Mr. Fingal. Oh, yes, well, he knew it wasn't a cabbage, 'cause Robin would never have got it in his pocket. And he knew it wasn't a carrot either, 'cause they don't get sticky. So, it just had to be a sweetie. Yeah. Right, well, that's got that then. Now, Fury and I had better get to work. And what are you doing with yourselves this morning, Oh, I think we're going to see Mr. Ship if you're going off to the beach. Good idea. Come on then, Rosie. All right. Bye, Mr. Fingal. Bye, Fury. Bye, the both of you. Bye. Bye, Fury.
We sails to the north, we sails to the south, we sails to the roaring forties. Then it's anchors away home to Cockleshell Bay, 'cause that's where a sailor's heart is.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Ship.
Hello, my dears.
Gosh, Mr. Ship. You're not cleaning things as well.
Sort of. I'm painting my old shed with preservative.
With
Preservative. Special sort of liquid as preserves the wood. Stops it going rotten.
It doesn't look any different though, Mr. Ship.
Ah, well now, that's 'cause it ain't got no colour, this here preservative. Looks like water, but it don't smell like water.
Oh, no. It smells like garden fences.
Garden fences, that's a good one. Well, got the same sort of stuff in it, I suppose, as they paints on fences.
Yes.
And what have you been doing with yourselves this morning, eh?
Well, we had to go with Mummy's Hoover.
Oh, did you now?
Yeah. And we sucked up Gran Rowty's duster.
Bless my barnacles.
It made an awful noise.
Well, vacuum cleaners is noisy things anyway.
Mummy says it's things going round in the air that makes the noise.
That's right, so it is. Ooh, it's noisy stuff is the air.
That's what Mummy said too.
Oh, when you been a sailor, you knows it. What about them roaring 40s, eh?
How do you mean, Mr. Ship?
Well, it's a part of the sea where it's terrible windy. And the wind is just the air rushing about in a hurry.
Oh.
Oh, bless my barnacles, many's the time I've been there on deck, with the wind a-whooshing round the mast, and a-howling through the rigging, and a fairly rattling in your ears, so you can't hear yourself speak, never mind the captain.
Gosh.
And that's why it's called the Roaring Forties.
Yes.
And what's doing the roaring?
The wind.
And what's the wind?
Air.
Right. So it ain't surprising as a vacuum cleaner's noisy, is it?
No.
Robin! Rosie! Time for your lunch, my dears.
Oh, well now, hear that?
Yeah, great. We're starving.
Well, looks like she's forgiven you for sucking up her duster. So off you go, hey, like the wind.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye. Whoosh. So, swishing and whooshing like the wind in a hurry, they both went in for lunch.
They're all too busy, said Robin. And then he and Rosie both thought of the same thing. Could you take us to the harbour, Mr. Ship? They said, both together. Oh, sorry, he said, but I promised to make a new garden gate for Mrs. Povey, who lives up the road, and I'll have to finish it off today. Oh. Robin and Rosie groaned. Hang on, though, said Mr. Ship. I've got an idea. Now just you wait there. Then he went into his shed. I wonder what he's gone for, said Rosie. Dunno, said Robin. Oh, he's coming. Mr. Ship was carrying two long, sort of, poles. Now then, he said, what do you think these are? Little flagpoles, said Robin. No, clothes props, said Rosie. No, said Mr. Ship. Both wrong. They're fishing rods. Ooh, said Robin and Rosie. Fishing rods. So now you don't have to watch people fishing. You can go fishing yourselves. But, where, Mr. Ship? Why, on my boat, of course, said the sailor. But, Mr. Ship, there isn't any water. Well, doesn't mean to say you won't catch anything, chuckled Mr. Ship. You'd be surprised what you can catch from my boat.
A few minutes later, Robin and Rosie were on board Mr. Ship's boat with their rods over the side. And Mr. Ship had gone back, he said, to making Mrs. Povey's gate, although the children couldn't hear him banging anymore. "I'm going to catch a herring," said Rosie. "Well," said Robin, "I'm going to catch a shark." "Well, I'm going to catch a whale." "You said you were going to catch a herring and a whale." "You can't. You've only got one hook." "Well, you can't catch a shark." "Can, can't." "Ooh." Robin suddenly stopped arguing. "My line tugged." "Gosh," said Rosie. "You must have caught a... Wow, my line tugged too." "Quick, pull them in." "Oh, hurry up." "Oh, great. Wow, what is it?" "Oh, ooh, gosh. Golly. I've got a welly boot. And I've got a sand bucket. Oh, let's try again." "Oh, yes, let's." They lowered their lines over the side, waited, and sure enough, "I've got another." "So have I." This time, Robin caught a welly boot to go with Rosie's. Rosie caught a spade to go with Robin's bucket. And the next time, they caught an old tyre and, of all things, Mr. Ship's tea mug. And then Rosie spotted something. "Look," she said. "A net." "What?" "A fishing net. Look." "Oh, yes. Hey, perhaps we could catch lots of fish. Well, lots of things, all at once, like the fishermen do." "Yes," said Rosie. "Let's try." So they took the net and spread it out. "Right," said Robin. "When I say 3, we'll throw it over the side." "All right," said Rosie. "I'll count 2. 1, 2, 3. Whoa! There was a big shout from down below. Robin and Rosie looked at each other. "Oh, wow! Oh, bless my barnacles!" "I think we've caught something. I think you're right. We'd better have a look." Golly! There was Mr. Ship, with the fishing net over his head. "Great flying fishes," said Mr. Ship. "You might well golly and gosh." "Hang on," said Robin. "We're coming down to help." "Oh, there I was, minding my own business," muttered Mr. Ship, "when a blooming great net lands on my head." "Here we are, Mr. Ship. We'll get you out." "Well, I should think so too. I'm all tangled up." "I'm sorry, Mr. Ship." "Yes, sorry," said Robin. "We were trying to catch more things." "Oh," said Mr. Ship. "Like boots and buckets, eh?" "Yes," said Robin. And then he said, "Hey." And Rosie said, "How did you know we caught..." "Oh, Mr. Ship," said Rosie, "you tied them onto our lines." Laughed Mr. Ship. "So I did. Oh, I thought I'd catch you out. Oh, but you caught me instead." And then they all laughed, while Robin and Rosie helped Mr. Ship out of the net. And just as they finished, "Robin? Rosie?" Gran Rowty called from the back door of the Bucket and Spade. "Yes, Gran. Your lunch is ready, my dears." "Oh, great," said Rosie. "I'm starving." "Yes, so am I," said Robin. "Right, off you go then," said Mr. Ship, "and you can come back for a bit more fishing afterwards." "Oh, thanks, Mr. Ship." "Yes, thanks. Bye. Bye." "Bye-bye, my dears. Bye." "Oh, Gran, we've been fishing." "Goodness gracious me," said Gran Rowty. "And I caught a welly boot, and I caught a bucket. We both caught Mr. Ship. And we're starving." "Well, I never," laughed Gran. "I'm not surprised you're starving after all them adventures. You'd better come in for your lunch. It's fish and chips." And they all went in for lunch. was a nice warm day in Cockleshell Bay, and Christopher Cockle, Robin and Rosie's father, was sitting in a deck chair reading to them. The good ship Mary Pengillion put on all sail and cut through the waters of the Spanish Main. But fast as she sailed, the Spanish brigantine... What's a brigantine? Interrupted Rosie. It's a kind of sailing ship, said Mr. Cockle. And Robin said, Oh, be quiet, Rosie. Well, I only wanted to know what a... Do you want to hear the story or not? Oh, yes, Dad. Sorry, said Robin and Rosie, both together. Right, then, let's see. But fast as she sailed, the pirate brigantine sailed faster. Bigger and bigger it grew against the wind-torn sky, till all those aboard the Mary Pengillion could see the name Sea Rover on the bows. That's the front of the boat. I know, shh. Closer and closer sailed the pirate ship, and now they could see the rigging, now the faces of the pirates themselves. Then, crash! The two ships locked together, and the pirates leapt aboard the Mary Pengillion with cries of, You out there, Mr. Cockle! Laughed Robin. That's a funny thing for a pirate to shout. Oh, be quiet, Robin, said Rosie. You're spoiling the story. Helen says she'll be ready for off in 5 minutes. I'll just get my jacket then. You going out, Dad? Asked Rosie. Yes, said Chris Cockle. Mummy and I are going to choose some wallpaper for the back bedroom. Oh, Dad, can't you finish the story? I'll finish it off tonight, said their father, as a bedtime story. Chris! Mrs. Cockle called from inside. All right, love, coming, Mr. Cockle called back. We'll be back in an hour for lunch, kids, and Gran Rowty will be here. Now, behave yourselves. Bye. Bye, Dad. Bye. Said Robin. What shall we do now? But he thought of the answer himself, and so did Rosie. Let's play pirates. Hey! We can go and pirate Mr. Ship, said Rosie. Oh, yes. Robin thought that was a very good idea. Only we'd better tell Gran we're going. Yes. Gran. Gran. Yes, my dears? You all right, then? We're going to Mr. Ship's yard, Gran, said Robin, to play pirates. Pirates, eh? Ooh, my goodness. Here, she said. Hang on a minute. I got something as'd suit pirates. And she went back in. Wonder what she's gone for. Dunno, said Robin. Maybe it's a treasure chest. But it wasn't. Here we are. One eye patch. Goodness knows where that came from. And one spotted headscarf. Here we are, just tied it around there. And she fitted the headscarf on Robin like a pirate's bandana, and the eye patch on Rosie. Now then, you look much more like pirates, she said. Scare the life out of Ezekiel Shipham, I shouldn't wonder. Oh, thanks, Gran, said Robin and Rosie, both together. Bye. Bye-bye, my dears, bye. And Robin and Rosie set off across the garden and crept stealthily through the gap in the fence. They tiptoed quietly across to Mr. Ship's boatyard next door. Shh, whispered Rosie. We're pirates. All right, Robin whispered back. As they got to Mr. Ship's old boat, they could hear him hammering somewhere on board. Let's creep on board and take him prisoner, said Rosie. Great, said Robin. I think he's on deck. Come on. A couple of moments later, they climbed out onto the deck and... Ha-ha! We have captured the ship! They shouted. But there was no one there. Oh, said Rosie. That's funny. Maybe he's in the bows, Robin said, and they crept forwards towards the front of the boat. But he wasn't there. Well, Rosie whispered, maybe he's in the stern. And they crept towards the back of the boat. But just as they passed the hatch... Ha-ha! Gosh, Mr. Ship, you did make us jump. Oh, you didn't know as I was a pirate too, did you?
laughed the old sailor. But how did you know we were coming? Asked Robin. I saw you coming through the fence, said Mr. Ship. I was up on deck. So I made myself a cutlass, tied me hanky on me head, and hid. Oh, you're a super pirate, Mr. Ship. Oh, that's right. I'm king of the pirates. Oh, I am the pirate king, I am. Hurrah for the pirate king. And it is a wonderful thing to be a pirate king. Oh, I am the pirate king, I am. Hurrah for the pirate king. And it is a wonderful thing to be a pirate king. Oh, smashing, Mr. Ship. Oh, and I'm a hard-hearted villain, I am. I'm so horrible, I'm going to make you walk the plank. Oh, great, Mr. Ship, said Robin and Rosie, both together. Well, you aren't supposed to say, oh, great, said the old sailor. You're supposed to cry and beg for mercy. But we want to walk the plank, Mr. Ship, said Rosie. Yes, we do, said Robin. Mr. Ship, what is walking the plank? Oh, well, chuckled Mr. Ship. It's how the real pirates used to get rid of their enemies. Now come on down and I'll show you. By the time Robin and Rosie had got down inside the boat, Mr. Ship had wedged the plank into the hole in the side of the boat. Now then, said Mr. Ship, you have to walk along the plank until you falls off the end, and the sharks get you. Oh, bless my barnacles, if that ain't a sea monster I can hear, said Mr. Ship. No, it's not, giggled Rosie. It's Fury the donkey. Oh, it might be Fury the donkey other days, but it's a sea monster today, said Rosie, and giggled a bit more. Anyway, I can't stand here gossiping with you two. On to the plank with your boat. So first Robin and then Rosie started off along the plank, and Mr. Ship, with his wooden sword in his hand, walked behind them. Oh, said Rosie, it's a bit bendy. Yes, I'm not sure that... Keep going, said Mr. Ship, who was enjoying being a pirate. You miserable wretches! And he took another step too. But as he did, he started to wobble. He wobbled to the left, he wobbled to the right, and fell off bump. Oh, bless my barnacles! Oh, Mr. Ship, said Robin, you'd better swim fast. That sea monster's after you. Wow! Oh. Laughed Mr. Ship. The sea monster's after you now. Here, who are you calling a sea monster? It was Gran Rowty, standing there looking at them. And whatever are you doing sitting about on the ground? Well, we were walking the plank, said Rosie, and we fell off. And Mr. Ship's the pirate king, Gran, said Robin, and the sea monster's going to eat him. Oh, wow, said Gran Rowty. Sounds like a very sensible sea monster. There's plenty of fat on the pirate king. Here, steady on. And what's more, it's time for lunch, whether you're a sea monster or a pirate. Lunch, said Rosie. Great. Yes, said Robin. Great. And they both said, we're starving. Come on then, your mum and dad are back and waiting for you. Bye bye then, come back after lunch and I'll make you a pirate sword each, all right? Oh yes, thanks Mr. Ship, said Robin and Rosie, both together. And they went in for lunch. Mr. Cockle was working on some papers on the dining table as Robin and Rosie came in from the garden. Hello, Daddy. Hello, Dad. Hello, you two. It's a lovely day. Yes, it is a lovely day. Good. What are you doing?
Oh, finishing off some plans for Mr. Bolster the builder, said Mr. Cockle. And just then, Mrs. Cockle came in from the kitchen. My goodness, she said. What a lovely day. What are you working on, Chris? Oh, I'm just finishing some drawings for Mr. Bolster. Good morning. It was Gran Rowty, who helped Mrs. Cockle in the guest house. My word! Say no more, Mrs. Rowty. Hey? Say nothing. I, Cockle the Mysterious, will tell you what you are going to say. Oh, get on with you, Mr. Cockle. No, you were going to say... Wait, it's coming to me. I see an L and an O. And a V. Yes, you were going to say... It's a lovely day. Good gracious me, Mr. Cockle. I was going to say that. Well, there you are then. But however did you? I knew, because we've all said it, Gran. Oh, Helen, you have betrayed my magical secret. Oh, Mr. Cockle, you're not mysterious at all. All the same, you're quite right. It is a lovely day. Yes, just the day for getting some fresh air. Oh, yes, we could make a tent and go camping. Well, I was going to say, it's just the day for a picnic. A picnic? Oh, great! Mummy, don't say it, Rosie. I'm feeling mysterious again. Oh, Daddy, you were going to say, why is it called a picnic? Gosh, Daddy, I was. Crumbs. Are you really mysterious, Dad? No, I'm afraid not. It's just the sort of question Rosie always does ask. Oh, yes, she does. I suppose I do. Anyway, no more talk. If we're going to have a picnic, let's get a move on. Yes, and I'll tell you what, Rosie. Go and see if Mr. Ship would like to come. Gosh, Mummy, you can do it too. That's just what I was going to say. Half an hour later, they were all outside the back door of the Bucket and Spade guest house, ready to go. All except Robin, that is. Come on, Robin. We're all ready. All right, I'm coming. Well, hurry up then. All right, Rosie, calm down, said her mother. It won't be much of a picnic if you're shouting at one another all the time. Oh, sorry, Mummy, said Rosie. But he's so slow. I'm not slow, panted Robin. I'm getting something, and it's stuck. Oh, here, I'll help you, Rosie said, and got hold of Robin. Now! Wow! Oh, help! Oh, Robin! Oh, goodness gracious me! I never knew such a pair for falling over, laughed Gran Rowty. Whatever have you got there? Asked Christopher Cockle as he helped them up. It's that old wooden clothes horse, said Mrs. Cockle. I said they could take it with them. Mr. Ship laughed. It looks as if the clothes horse is a-taking them. And whatever you going to do with that old thing? Asked Gran. Well, I thought we could make a tent and go camping on the dunes. Yes, explained Helen Cockle. Oh, and I've put an old sheet in the picnic basket for you to make the tent cover. Wow, said Rosie. What a great idea. Well, said Mr. Cockle, if you can get your clothes horse to behave itself, we'd better get moving. Right, said everyone, and off they went. Come on, Rosie, get a move on. I am. No, you're not. I'm pulling you. You are not. I am, yes, not. I am, yes, not, am. No, you're not. I am. Serves you right for arguing, you silly pair. I think we'd better stay here now. It's quite a nice sheltered spot anyway. I'll start getting things organized. Here, Zeke. Do you remember we always used to go egg rolling at Easter? War,
So we did, so we did. Well, I've got some hard-boiled eggs here somewhere. Here we go! Ho, ho, ho. Catch it now! Oh, I've got one! Down they go! Oh, look at that now! Oh, quick, get it, Rosie! Oh, I've got one too! Ooh, ho, ho, well done! Well done, shipmates! Well done! You're a good shot. Have a wobbly roll, don't they? Eggs. Well, I have a bit of a wobbly roll myself. That's because you're shaped like an egg, Ezekiel Shipham. What? Dad! Thanks, Rosie. Oh, Rosie, I have no idea. Just do it. Of course. And here's... said Robin. They have ice cream cornet tents. Ice cream cornet tents, said Rosie. Like that. Oh, you wigwam. Oh, never mind. Let's get in it. Oh, stop pushing. Move up then. Oh, see. Oh. Going. Oh, watch it out. I can't, whatever Ow. You two. Look out. Mind the s***s. Oh. Dear, what? Wake up. Good gracious me. Out and to with, I'll have my tablecloth. I wonder
where is it? This is it.
Oh. Said. And they all sat down to a picnic lunch. Give it to the captain. His hammer. Oh.
And the washing up. Good girl, said Mr. Cockle.
Hello, Robin. I meant Watsy hammering, silly. Silly yourself, then, for not saying so.
Oh, Dad, it's no use awing. Secret fit. Wonder what he... Secret. Oh, all right, Dad. Come on, Robin. Come on, back. On with you. Shoot! Go. He made Dad hit. Did he? Mr. Ship. Mr. Ship. A secret? Oh, won't it? Well, then. Something for you. For us? Surprise. Oh, what? Gosh, Mr. Tis a complicated business, you know. All
Oh,
there's a plan. Fly, it makes the wood smooth and see. Can we ever go with? Afraid, Robin. Oh. Things? Oh, well, my dear, what'll cut wood will cut fingers. Hang on. Suppose you know... Did he now? What he was a... To get out, you finger and... Yes. It's the clever. Now then. There now. Oh, great. Then who? Look. Finger and thumb. A bit harder. Ah. Very. Now then, rock. Whoa, need to swing the hammer. Knock my head.
Through the back.
Up above the streets and houses, rainbow climbing high. Everyone can see it smiling over the sky. Paint the whole world with a rainbow.
Right, did you go, Muggle? Here we are, home at last.
Oh, that was a great day out at the seaside, Geoffrey.
Oh, it was good fun, wasn't it?
Oh, it certainly was. I like the fun fair best, I think.
I like paddling in the sea.
Yes, paddling. That's what I meant, yes.
But what about all the ice cream, Zippy?
Oh, yes, the ice cream. Oh, that was the best thing, the ice cream, yes.
Well, I like the show.
Yes, the show. Yeah, the seaside show. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside.
The singer was very good.
And the dancers.
Oh, yes.
But, you know, I think I like the magician the best.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and those two funny men who balanced plates on sticks, they were funny.
Oh, yes, they were very good. You know, I liked it when one of them balanced a ball on his nose.
Well, it's getting late. I better be off. I'll see you in the morning.
Right. Oh, what are we going to do tomorrow?
Oh, I haven't thought about tomorrow yet, George.
We could do our own seaside show.
Oh, that would be fun, shall we?
All right, why not? I mean, we could do it outside, couldn't we?